Haken audio. We hear the magical ears of Haken audio. Just going to start off with hearing what they play for me. Nice. Thank you so much. That was magical.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
But what were we actually hearing? Like the technology, sounds very physical, but this is synthesis.
Yeah, it's all synthesis. It's our Egan Matrix engine.
Yeah.
So we were both playing warbles, which are these wind controllers, and they're pretty sweet. Two of our Continuum attendees brought these to our attention, and they're crazy because it's a wind controller that has infrared sensors in it, so as your finger approaches, you can get pitch bends.
Nice.
And it's also got an accelerometer for just wonderfully set up vibrato by moving it in and out. And then it's got a whole, axis, and here I've got it for a timbre control.
Wow.
And so that's connecting through WIDI, Bluetooth MIDI, to this CME device, which then powers and transmits the MIDI to our micro, which is the Egan Matrix engine, the same engine that's in the Eurorack modules and also in the Continuum Mini.
And that would be like the cheapest entry to...
The cheapest one, yes, that's right.
But it's just as powerful sound-wise.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, one thing that we've, just for simplicity's sake, and also just because we are using the same engine, you can use presets in any of these, of the Egan Matrix devices, including the Osmos from Expressive E, and the presets are all compatible.
Oh, wow.
But they're all curated, bespoke for each device.
Yeah.
So we have different presets for the Continuum, and different presets for the Egan Matrix module and the Continuum Mini. Not so much the Continuum Mini, there's a lot of commonality between the Continuum and the Continuum Mini presets and the Micro. Yeah. And probably the biggest difference occurs with the Osmos because it's...
the pressure layer is not the...
Exactly, yeah. And it's also keyed, so it's a different experience.
Yeah. And what about you? Well, if you walk close with the microphone, we can hear you. What about you? Did you play anything of that now? The physical side of things?
Yeah. It's really a work in progress. Yeah. So purely experimental, but I did work. So last week nothing was ready. So it's really new. But basically we use this as filters. So there's an audio input, an audio output. So on each of them you have a transducer and a piezo mic. So the piezo mic is custom designed. There's a custom preamp as well, everything. But basically you use the Egan Matrix, which is a
Yeah.
modular synthesizer, and you can take any at any point the sound of it, send it to the device, back to the audio input to the
Yeah.
module, and that's now a module of your synthesizer bus. So
Yeah.
it's just like a module on your module, but the transfer function is not a filter. It's something you can interact with.
Yeah.
We're calling it an immersive filter.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we put up the sign just to make sure that people understood that things can get a little weird here.
Yeah. And if you don't know, this man has been strongly a key member of the team who developed these speakers, these physical speakers we see. Wow, that sounds...
Since it's a preset, you
Yeah.
can obviously change the sound. So for example,
Yeah.
this was one. Can you get that one?
So this is half in the physical domain and half in the Egan Matrix.
Yeah. So there's physical modeling
Yeah.
together with real physical stuff.
Yeah.
And here, on that preset, that's really the case. That's one of the kinetic
Yeah.
module, which is really a physical modeling stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Together with the physical device.
That's so cool. Yeah.
So that's the principle. We need to elaborate on it. But it works with this, but I have also wooden plates, so you can do it through metallic plates. I have
Yeah.
big metallic plates at
Yeah.
home, but too large to carry.
Yeah.
But it's a work in progress. Maybe next year we will get something ready for sale.
Yeah.
Probably
wow.
some DIY stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
can buy just a part and assemble it the way you want and play with it. And
But the moment you can kind of put your hand into something, it becomes
It's
so
really much,
special.
Yeah, you can feel it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and you really with this you're really doing the filter. You put your hands on the wood and then you're damping it and then remove or select certain resonant frequency of it
Yeah.
at any point. So that's really funny.
That is so cool. Yeah. So I know I'm a Continuum player myself, and I've been playing it for many years. But I know you keep making like really relevant updates every year with new filters, new modules, new layers and stuff. Could you go through like the latest updates for the last 2 years, maybe? That's
Sure. Well, over 2 years, I really can't keep. I barely know what happened the last 2 weeks.
okay. This week.
Yeah. Well, what we've been working on recently is, and also keep in mind that all these updates we're doing, they're also for our entire line. So whenever we do something, we try to make it as much as we can completely compatible with all the different modules that we have.
Mm.
So
As well as the Osmos.
that's right. Yeah. So let me just check something here.
So
So
here,
this.
Egan Matrix
Yeah.
back side.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah. So this presets, we have a new way of.
Do you want a chair?
No, that's fine. We have a new way of working with our biquad filter bank, and so that's one of the big components in physical modeling. Whether you excite it with an input and you get and then let it resonate, you get sort of a string-like sort of thing happening, or you put it into a loop sequence and then you get sort of a wind type of aspect. So they're all resonant filters. And one thing with these resonant filters is it's always interesting to push them near the edges of things. And when you go to the edge, it's also very easy to fall off the edge and create nasty, horrible overloads and things. So we have a new way.
I know from experience when I've been
Yes.
trying out the Egan Matrix and make patches. Never do it with headphones first until you know exactly what you're doing, because it can spiral out
Yes.
before the safety mechanism kicks in.
Exactly. When I'm editing, especially with the Continuum, my first response is when I'm going into anything that I know is a filter or looping type of a sequence, my
Turn
finger
down.
goes here to turn down the volume,
volume.
and then go there just for your own sanity. So this one, this is a preset that I did, which is sort of like a resonant metal bar. And it in this setting here, it's not very resonant, and there's noise continuously going. So we have an input and then a... And then as I narrow the bandwidth so you get more ringing. This preset uses a feature on the Continuum that not a lot of people seem to use, and we have this touch area, which essentially gives you a whole other area. So you notice if I play down here, I'm not getting any sort of sound.
Yeah.
And on this preset, I've got it set up so that I can introduce a DDL over here that feeds through the sound. So, and now my pitch is here. And I can mute it there.
Is
Bring
that
it
a
back.
little frozen buffer or something?
It's just like a high feedback amount into a standard delay line.
Yeah, yeah.
And so down here we have the range of the keyboard. I'm sorry, the Continuum for the fingering part of it. But you can start something here, and then I can play it there, and then slide up.
Oh, you can
And
slide it out.
you can go out of it, and
Yeah.
it's still referenced down there, but
Yeah.
now I can get into Carpless Strong type of territory.
It's very cool. It
Yeah.
trips me up. I'm setting up the microphones and line input, and is it actually connected? Am I hearing? It sounds so physical. So I'm like, oh no, I'm good. I'm recording it not only through the microphones, because there is a physical aspect to, especially many of your patches. You have a background in the physical domain, I think, that just shines through.
Yeah, with the engine, like when I do preset design, I usually have some sort of goal, some sort of physical object that I want to emulate, and which is a good thing because that becomes a common lexicon for people. They understand. So, that's rather like a Bode vibraphone, or that sounds like a glockenspiel or something like that. And typically, when you're doing the design, you run into naturally limitations of how close you can get it, but you also run into surprises and interesting things, and so it goes off in a little bit of a nice, strange direction. There's no reason to make a glockenspiel sound. There's reasons to make a glockenspiel inspired sound.
Yeah. Nice.
So that's what we have new there. Also, we have we do have our CVC, which is the control voltage converter. This isn't a really big thing what we're doing, but we have a partner in Evaton Technologies that made a URAC version of it, which was a cut down version.
Oh, nice. Which one is it?
This one, it's right here.
Yeah.
So I'm right now, let's see if I can get this. So here is this Egan Matrix module. I'm controlling it with control voltages. So from the micro CVC into the control voltage inputs on this Egan Matrix module. But the module also responds to MIDI input as well.
Yeah.
So at the same time, so it's taking single channel MIDI input, putting it onto channel 1 and MPE, which disperses it out into the MPE channels.
Yeah.
And then I can, it's got a round robin merging so that I can now play this as well, monophonic of course from the control voltage. And I'm using this module here. Let's get this feedback up there.
Wow.
I love this controller.
Can I actually capture this on film? It's,
Well, it depends. How fast are you? That's just using the Z output from this string
Wow,
thing from Nervous Squirrel.
it's a super
Yeah.
fun thing.
You know what this is? This is an old golf game,
Oh yeah.
like early days. And so what you would do, this would be on the ground. There would be like a little ball right here instead of this ring.
Oh, okay.
And a person would whack it and it would go off in a direction.
Yeah.
And that's where we would get the information of where the ball, you know, and it would virtually put you into probably like a, you know, black and white virtual greenway.
That's funny.
And so this fellow from England just bought up a stock of them. I had seen someone perform with it, but not in this Eurorack format.
Yeah.
So I just loved them because, you know, Eurorack performances need some visual aspects to them.
Yeah.
So.
Visual and physical.
So with the CVC, we have it in this rack mount version, which is 1/4 inch, and then people typically put adapters in it to go into Eurorack. It's all completely programmable.
What
within the
port
EMatrix.
do you use to connect it to
It's an I2C port. So that's a dedicated port right here, like on a Continuum. And we have that port also on over here. That's why I'm going here. This on the Continuum Mini, it acts as a pedal or as an I2C connection.
Yeah.
It's also available on the Micro.
Cool.
And what we're doing, I was just showing these are just mock-ups of, eventually we're going to release the CVC full featured in Eurorack.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So you'll be able to get 4x4 or 2x8,
Yeah.
completely adjustable. And we have this new thing called overlays. And so the overlays are, people find the Egan Matrix engine daunting to program in.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the same concept as in Reactor, you have ensembles.
Yeah.
So instead of using Reactor, you might use Massive or something like that.
Yeah.
We're doing overlays, so there'll be a special overlay that just is for CVC. So when you want to assign W, X, Y, and Z, you know, the gate, the pitch, the timbre, and the volume, or whatever those are, you can map them in any sort of direction and combine it with LFOs.
Have you started releasing the overlays?
Yeah, they're available right now if you go to Haken Audio. And
Yeah. Could
go
you
in-
show me some?
Yeah, sure.
Because the Egan Matrix itself, show me that first.
Yeah.
So that people know
Yeah, so there's the Egan Matrix.
it's a matrix, hence the name.
And you can see as I change patches, all these sort of things. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah.
And in every intersection, you can create a little calculation base.
That's right. And the calculation's up there, and that's just showing you the output traveling here to this input, which goes into this thing called the bit graph, which was one of our
Yeah.
filter resonating systems.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
then the overlay.
The overlays. So what happens there is if you load you load one preset, or
Yeah.
the overlay loads it for you automatically.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to deal with the Egan Matrix.
Yeah.
What you deal with is another interface. So it's like here is a ratio. So it is a simple FM synth with a modulator and a carrier,
Yeah.
controlled into an amplitude control. Over here we have a preset bank. So every overlay has its own presets.
Yeah.
And
And
so-
they look a little different as well.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, as you can see as I go through the presets, what you're changing is all these parameters
yeah.
within an overlay.
And it's up to the one developing the overlay.
To figure out what resources to
Yeah,
put in there.
yeah.
But if you just want to deal with FM,
Yeah.
you don't want to, a typical response when people say, well, yeah, I like this, but I don't like the characteristics of how this changes, or I want the overall sound to be a little duller or brighter.
Yeah.
Those sort of things are easier to address in a more left to right signal flow type of thing.
And is it effectively remote controlling the actual matrix?
Yeah.
So whatever you do here,
Whatever you do changes it. So
can
like,
show up in the.
so here's the level of this oscillator that I have. Tone control. I could say, oh, I want to make the tone brighter with my pressure. And maybe add a little bit of let's put a reverb on this. Let's see.
You changed the reverb recently. Updated it to
Yeah,
make
so
it smoother and longer.
It's from 10:09, after 10:09, we rewrote the. So what happened was we had an original process that we were supporting with older continuums,
Yeah.
and there's only so much memory, and so as you know, we wanted to support it as long as we could, but it came to a certain point that, you know, DSP just changes. So we had to sort of say, okay, adios. You know, we've had a good ride there, but we have to go on. And thanks for all the memories. But we still support it, like in terms of hardware and that kind of support. But now the developments we are doing, and this allows us to have more memory, and of course we could make a better sounding reverb and bring in more modules, and easier to deal with.
And from what year roughly?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good little question.
Yeah. But basically all the Slims, they support the...
Oh yeah, all the Slims, It's certainly, and then also the later generation thick ones for sure too. Yeah. Anything with what we call a 2X processor.
Yeah.
So we have...
I think I am covered.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you'll be covered for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to grow here. I mean, we have so many ideas, and just which one do you want to get to? And then once you get into it, it's like, wow, it's just, I'm into sound design and playing, so it's like all sorts of exploring. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So that's the ratio one. I'll just show you some FM modulation.
Yeah.
I can run this through a convolution body. I can modulate the convolution body.
Have you at some point introduced new convolution bodies? Or?
Yes, we did. When did we do that? It was after
Just after Dune.
we worked on Dune. Yeah, so we actually, when we were in Santa Monica working on Dune, we took advantage of the studio to sample all Christoph's wonderful resonators.
Just casually, we were working on Dune. That's so epic.
Yeah, we're part of it. You know, we jumped into the pool of composers and interns and assistants. And worked on it. Yeah, he likes having people around in his laboratory.
Yeah. But then you created a few new convolutions.
Yeah. So that's the list that we have here. So, for instance, all these little Guadalupe convolutions, and then some wonderful things that Guillaume from Expressive E did. Cloth, and that's a new one. It's leather, and all these are just sort of starting points.
This is. I mean, last time I checked this is like 3 times as many.
It really grew up.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
And they're really great because they give you kind of like a, I hate to say it this way, but it's kind of like this resonator experience in a box. You put it through a system. I mean, this thing is really special because it's in physical space. Yeah. And this thing will always be, stereo space. Yeah. So it's really not fair to compare it. Right. But it gives it that character. Like, because, even when we do, like, the Genie is another overlay. So this is a emulation of the Genie oscillator that was in the Ondeline, invented by George Genie in like the late 30s and then through the 40s all the way to the early 60s. I think it was in production, somewhere around there. So
what does it sound like?
It sounds really warm because I've got tubes in it.
Yeah, real tubes.
Yeah, real tubes. Let's see. I'll just show you. You end up getting kind of these nasally textures, like. So if you're into that and you want to just sort of play around within this space, let's go here. And here's some presets I'll dive through. And here this one's running through the body shape.
Nice.
It's really quick to dial in things.
Yeah.
It's in. I understand where people are coming with the sort of the craziness in the Matrix. It's very unfamiliar.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that.
I mean, it's very logical. Once you get it, it's
Yeah.
kind of easy to go explore, but it's difficult to understand the different files.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what does this do? What does this do? And
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
just get kind of glitches before you start figuring out what is what. But
Yeah,
it's,
I know it's difficult because I go back to some presets that maybe I designed like half a year ago.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I did. I have to like
Yeah.
do, go back and say, oh yeah, this why did I do this? And
Yeah.
and it's all.
And sometimes
Yeah.
when I open like the factory patches, I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, this sounds so intricate and special. And then I look at the patch, what? It's only this? Where is the sound? And it's just a couple of dots and like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's cuckoo presets in there. We have the Chinese clarinet is
Oh,
still
yeah.
existing, and lovely
Cool.
sound in the library. So a little bit of cuckoo is in cuckoo magic is in the all the continuums.
Yeah.
I don't know if that one made it to the Osmos. What they
I don't think.
oh my train's here. I'm sorry. I've got to. Yeah. So I don't know if that made it into the Osmos.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I never changed it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Expressive E made their own presets, and they also took our presets and and changed them so
Yeah.
they worked well with the Osmos. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for this wonderful performance and everything.
Oh,
So
thanks.
how can people get in touch with you and find the instruments and?
Well, you can find the instruments through in the EU through Schneidersladen. If you're in England, you deal with KMR. If you're in Australia, you deal with Found Sound.
Yeah.
And if you're in North America, you'll deal directly with Haken Audio. We
Yeah.
do direct sales in North America. And for the other parts of the world, we do ship worldwide, but especially if you're in the EU or in Australia or in England, we strongly recommend for support reasons and shipping reasons that you deal directly with Schneidersladen. It's distributed through Alex
Yeah,
Four.
yeah. And with the Osmos, it has a little wider distribution.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's They licensed our engine.
Yeah.
We of course don't control that
Yeah,
aspect of
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much. I really enjoyed it. So please check out.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh, did you
Sorry?
want to do a little bit on Loris or?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Sorry.
that's really
let's,
cool.
let's just go through.
This is very cool.
Let's go through before we round out this wonderful installation
Yeah.
here.
So this is we have also something new, which name is Loris.
Yeah.
So that's also an overlay. You can see.
Yeah.
So you can design your preset directly. But basically, it's you know the Malin phrase. Have you ever feel like in the Continuum? So that's an extension of it where you can use your own sample, do the analysis of the sample, and send the parameters to the Continuum.
Oh, okay.
So it's not sampling; it's really analysis and resynthesis.
Yeah.
We take the sample, we extract the synthesis parameter,
Yeah.
and send them to the Continuum. So that tool is designed so you can extract this and then send everything to the Continuum.
And what becomes of this? What's the final?
So the final, the result, just to quickly show, this is a Chinese gong that was analyzed and.
Yeah.
Or you can get, this is a kind of guitar. Or you can go to kind of voices.
How long sounds can you analyze, and how many entry points?
So any sample is going to be sliced
Yeah.
in 512
Yeah.
slices.
Yeah.
So you can take, usually you stay between 2 and 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So the longer it gets, the further apart it is.
Yeah. But if you want to take 2 minutes and cut it,
Yeah.
you will get something that
Yeah.
will be really far from the original,
Yeah.
but still maybe some interesting texture. So
Yeah.
basically that's really not sampling, just that's getting texture, sonic texture that
Yeah.
you can manipulate inside the Continuum.
Is this going to be like a separate little app?
So
or-
it's a separate little app. It's already available on the Apple
Yeah.
Store or the Windows Store. So you just buy the app from the store, and you can just extract the thing and send
cool.
everything to the Continuum. So
How
you,
many-
you do need the Continuum to
Oh yeah, yeah. Or the yeah.
or the Osmos or any
Or the
Egan
mini,
Matrix.
yeah.
Any Egan Matrix.
And how many of these? Does it take up much storage?
So you can store 40 different analyses in the Continuum, and from one analysis you can do 100 preset.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's really a resource for the sound engine, and
Yeah.
it can reuse in multiple ways.
Oh, that's really good. I know you've been working on this
So
for a long time.
Yeah, so that's ready now and available for the Matrix, and that's an overlay thing. So when you go to program it, you see when I change there, it's automatically loading the preset, and you have the filter, the envelope, the analysis parameters, the convolution, the effects. So that's straightforward to manipulate. Exactly the same. That's an overlay, so making it easy to edit and manipulate your preset.
Again, it does it as an overlay.
Very cool.
It's an overlay.
It's an overlay.
Yeah, an
so
overlay.
it's that,
Yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing me. It's finally here for
It's
people to
finally here
use.
and available.
I've seen it. I've seen it many years ago, actually, like an early prototype. But that's
That's the final.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you so much, and check out Haken Audio, and support these guys. They're wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.